What was your prior opinion on Goldbacks? What is your current position on Goldbacks?
I mean, if gold was 10,000, would they still be having 100% premium? Well, we do have some beautiful quarter-ounce gold maples, and these are selling at the same premium per ounce as 1 ounce Silver Dragon silvery loveliness.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Tiger Stacker, and today we have a really awesome subject to discuss with you. As many of you know, I believe in having fractional gold and silver since I started my stack in 2021. And with the climbing price of gold, silver, some of us can't afford to buy 1 ounce of gold or even 1 ounce of silver, and yet we still need to prepare for the upcoming SHTF. Subsequently, fractional is becoming more the way to go. Yes, there is an increased premium, but with the climbing prices that are going on and probably will still go on, it'll pay for itself in my humble opinion. My guest and I are not financial advisors, nor is this financial advice. We are discussing our journeys with you and hope that it will be of beneficial to everyone. Today's topic of fractionality is on Goldbacks. Can you imagine that? Because of its price and other subjects, it's a subject that most people love or hate. Which one are you? Do you believe in them or do you not? Well, tonight, my guest is going to discuss his journey with Goldbacks, why he felt one way in the beginning and now a different way. My guest is Ian Everard of ARK Silver Gold Osmium, aka ARK SGO. He has been a precious metals dealer for some time now and has developed an excellent reputation, not only for good prices, but also good ethics. His journey with Goldbacks is intriguing, and I would like for you to hear his story. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest, Ian Everard. Welcome, Ian. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Tiger. And how are you doing in the jungle?
I'm doing okay. That last water buffalo, I think, gave me an upset tummy. As per our private conversations, you had one opinion on Goldbacks that is now different. What was your prior opinion on Goldbacks and why?
Yeah, I mean, originally, I think it was around 2020, 2021, they were first sort of launched, wasn't it? I did come across them at a couple of conferences at the Silver Symposium, I think at New Orleans Investment Conference as well. Although they were attractive, durable, I thought the 100% premium was just a bit too high for my liking. I'm not sure, is that still roughly what the premium is now? Or?
Basically, yes.
So we're running at about 100%. So that's the downside. But I think the upside is it's bringing a lot of awareness of precious metals. So if it's a small percentage of one's stack, I don't think there's an issue with that. They're great gifts. They are very attractive. I think there's plenty of limited editions as well, isn't there, out there? So if you think compared to other collectibles, at least they have a core value of at least half their original purchase price. So I think potentially going forward, they got every chance to appreciate slightly in value.
Okay, you partially answered my next question, which is what is your current position on Goldbacks and why?
I think I'm persuaded to stock them. So hopefully you'll be able to put me in contact. I did start signing up, but got busy and didn't finish out the process. But I think they'll be popular in the store. It is potentially a low entry price for gold. And again, I think the educational value is just huge.
And if I might diverge for just a second, I don't really see this as stacking.
No.
Not only because of the premium, but a different reason. Under a pure SHTF, the price of gold and silver are going to get really jacked. And at that time, buying small things is not going to work. So you'll have merchant one who will say, yeah, I'll take your constitutional because they understand it.
Yeah.
You get merchant number two who's going to say, no, I'm not taking your constitutional because I don't think there is such a thing as constitutional, and I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I want something that says 999 silver. Now, this is a piece that I've showed you before that I'm minting here at home. That one's for my wife's channel, and this one's for my channel. then I'm going to be making more as soon as I get a better press. But the point is that merchant number 2 will only accept something that clearly states silver. Then you'll get merchant number 3 who's like, I don't want your silver, I want your gold. Well, they're not going to get my big piece of gold for a small purchase. That's where I see the Goldback playing. Now, some people will argue that you can't get people to even accept silver as currency, even with the constitutional, even though it looks like our old money, because it is. But I think that under a bad situation, worse situation, these will be way more barterable in the future, especially with the push for national state by state acceptance. But let me get back on topic. Although the premium of Goldbacks is pretty high, which you made mention to, it may be because the price of the technology. Do you still think it has a place being used as an alternative form of currency in today's society, and even more particularly in a financial society under SHTF?
Whoa, a lot of unknowns there. I think the advantage of the 90% constitutional is if you make sure you have the red book, just everybody has 90% should get a red book, because at least you've got published data there that states the silver content, and the dates. So it's going to be easy to explain. It'll help people learn quickly, the 0.715 silver content per dollar face in dimes, quarters, or halves, whatever combination. So I think in a real stressful situation, I think you're going to be much safer with constitutional, because if you've got dimes, quarters, and halves, and the purchasing power is rapidly increased on that, you could start your initial transactions with a new third party using dimes. Whereas if you go in with gold, they may well presume you've got quite a lot of wealth in precious metals. But if you just have a few dimes in your pocket, I think that would be a safer way to get to know somebody that you hadn't traded with before, if that was necessary.
That makes sense.
So I think for me, the main advantage of the Goldbacks is for educational purchases. I think they'll make great gifts and help introduce people into the idea of what is gold, what is silver. It's a transition. It fits some of the features, some of the requirements of money. They're durable, they're fungible, they're portable, and divisible, because you've got, was it 1,000 for the gram?
Nope, it's lower than that now. It used to be that the half Goldback, which is 1/2000th of
1/2000,
smaller. They've just recently come out with a 1/4 Goldback, which is 1/4000th of a troy. I don't think they're going to come out with anything smaller than that.
And is that still roughly 100% premium?
Yeah. There's, according to Alpine Gold, there is, and I've done the math many times, there is no change in the price per weight when you're dealing with the half, the 1, the quarter, all the way up to the 100.
So that does make the lighter weight ones better value then, as you're getting a lot more pieces. If you've got a quarter Goldback. And what's the largest one at the moment?
The 100 Goldback is the largest, although I've got it on good authority, they're not going to make it anymore. Their newest state, which I believe is their 9th state, is Iowa. No, Idaho.
I think, I did hear Idaho was coming. And that's
Idaho
probably going to be the catalyst to get us to choose to stock them. But if you look at that quarter, 1/4000th of a gram to 100 grams, that's a huge. Sorry, the 100 one is 100.
The 100 Goldback is 1/10 of an ounce.
So you're going to get a lot more of the small ones. So you're going to get better value on the smaller denominations.
Back when they first started coming out, I bought a ton of 1 Goldbacks and much less of the other ones. My goal was the same thing with fractional silver, fractional gold for that matter, before Goldbacks came out. I bought lots of small pieces of silver and gold for the same reason. Even in my early days of stacking, when I didn't understand much, I figured I'm going to have to buy small things. I'm going to have to buy clothes and food and maybe pay the electric bill and something else. So I'm going to need small pieces. And I didn't get into bigger pieces until much later, once I felt my small pieces were adequate, which now I kind of think maybe they're still not adequate enough. So that's one of the reasons I took it upon myself to have fun with silver, with pouring silver, and decided to start minting my own rounds, which I've just showed you a couple of them. The rest of them are still blanks. I'm going to start turning those into it. Like I said, I have a 10-ton press. It will only do the 1/10 ounce. It won't do the 1 ounce. So I was kind of hoping to get a much more powerful press, somewhere between a 50 and 100-ton press. These ones here were done with a 25-ton press by the company that made me the die. They look pretty good. I wonder if I gave it more power, if it would turn out even more intriguing than what it does at the current moment.
It's looking pretty sharp.
So if you ever hear of anyone who has a used decent price press, I might be interested. I don't want to buy a brand new one because they're pricey.
So getting back to the Goldbacks, is there just one distributor?
The main distributor is Alpine Gold. However, if you become a merchant, you can also sell the Goldbacks also. They do have a website, which I've introduced you to. And for those of you who are interested, you're welcome to go down below and check out the Alpine Gold site to make sure that you can go see and sign up if you want to. And if you'd be so kind, make sure you make mention that Tiger Stacker sent you. I'll get a little bit of credit for that. Will help me with all the equipment and the expenses of running YouTube channel. By the way, little side note, go to this man. I'm going to include his commercial here in the video here. This channel is affiliated with ARK Silver Gold Osmium. The owner, Ian Everard, is one of the most honest bullion dealers in the United States. ARK Silver Gold Osmium's owner, Ian, advertises new stackers to start their portfolio in the exact order he named his company. First, starting with a base of silver, then based upon the individual's plans and abilities, progressing to gold. Although he is the first dealer of osmium in the United States, he recognizes that osmium is not for every stacker or collector, and he does not advise this for everyone, but it is there for the stacker or collector who is interested in additional metals, including osmium, platinum, palladium, and others. ARK Silver Gold Osmium has some of the best prices that you can see here and on his website, noted in the QR code and in the description below. You can also call for pricing and purchasing and take advantage of his specials today by reaching out to Ian at 307-264-9441 or by email at ian@arksgo.com. And make sure to tell him, of course, that Tiger Stacker sent you. I'm pleased to announce that I have an affiliation with ARK Silver Gold Osmium as well as Alpine Gold. I don't think YouTube will allow me to put 2 advertisements into a video, but if you do want to go see it, then go look at some of the other videos that I've done. You'll see the advertisement there, but I will include their information for both Alpine and Ian down below.
What is your favorite states so far? Do you have favorite ones by design?
No, but I do have my favorite design, not my favorite state. It's a choice between the 5 gold back Florida and the 5 gold back Arizona. In the 5 gold back Florida, there is a really beautiful pirate girl. I never knew a drawing of a woman could look so pretty. I mean, I let that girl make me walk the plank. The other one is a very beautiful Hispanic lady in Arizona at the OK Corral. And dude, there's nothing more hot than a woman with a pistol. Those are my 2 favorite designs, and I think many men have the exact same preference.
And have they done limited editions?
No, not of that. Usually it's the 3 gold back that has the limited editions.
Oh, okay.
Well, Florida did a limited edition 1 gold back. I didn't think they did a 3. And I didn't see a reason for me to spend somewhere in around plus or minus $300 for a gold back of that nature, even though I appreciate it, how beautiful they are. But I saw no reason as a stacker and a prepper to spend that amount of money for something like that. I would rather buy a few more single Goldbacks, a few more silver to stack the weight so that when SHTF hits, my wife and I have the ability to pay for things without money being wasted.
If it hits, let's be fairly positive.
I understand where you're coming from. 6,000 years,
Yeah.
silver were real money.
Yeah.
6,000 years, 4,800 man-made
failed paper currencies. Yeah.
And with every failed currency, there's always been a war. So
yeah.
And let's face it, I don't have much faith in the sin of man. I believe the sin of man will always be the sin of man. And we will be looking at the problem of, well, let's call it what it is. Man never learns.
No, we keep repeating.
So
history rhymes, man repeats.
So basically, like I said, this is coming, in my opinion, because man will not learn. I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. I don't believe I'm wrong.
No, and I think Mises was right when he surmised that there's two ways an inflationary system ends. If you stop inflating it and start, as a nation, start spending according to your income, your system will collapse because all of the pretend wealth gets reconciled and reverts to zero or near zero. And if you carry on inflating, your system collapses catastrophically at some point.
Yeah.
Where people instantaneously either become so poor because their wages just cannot purchase enough to survive on.
True.
And we're sort of close to that, aren't we? I mean, I know there's different figures of 60% of Americans are paycheck to paycheck. Now, whether that is the actual reality and they're buying things that they could do without, so therefore they're not quite paycheck to paycheck, it still seems pretty grim, doesn't it? With a rising number of homeless people, rising number of people having to live in RVs. It would not more than indicate, I think it's a definite sign that the value of the currency that people are being paid isn't keeping up with the cost to live.
And that is the way they designed it.
It is, yeah.
You yourself pointed out the quote from Montague Norman, who was the banker in England, the main banker in England, and in 1924, the quote that he had made, which I'll include when I edit this video. Honestly, they've been doing this to us for years. Yeah. Why do you think that President Andrew Jackson went to war with the bankers?
He saw off a central bank.
Well, let's put it this way. I was watching another YouTuber who said that if we were dealing with sound money, we wouldn't have any war. That's not entirely true.
No, but it would be harder to profit. It would be much harder for the military-industrial complex to start a war, prolong a war, make a war worse, because it's often done or seem to, well, everything a government does now seems to be on borrowed money. So if you can lend them more, you can prolong a war. I mean, would we be bombing Iran now if there was no chance of ever increasing our debt ceiling? No, we couldn't.
That might be entirely true, but I'm going to take you back a little further in time. If you think about, and if I remember correctly, it was King Philip IV. He was running out of money. He had borrowed money from the Knights Templar, and he had no ability to take and pay it back. So he got war declared on the Templars and destroyed the Templars and took as much gold as he could get his hands on, refilled his coffers.
Yeah.
It is the sin of man to go to war, and in my opinion, usually over money.
Money is always heavily involved for sure, isn't it? Yeah.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the questions. Do you feel the premium could be differently priced? If so, what's your opinion?
No, I think on the Goldbacks, I would have liked to have seen the premium stay. I mean, I presume when they first came out, gold was under $2,000. So obviously their margin has increased dramatically. And I presume they got much greater volume of production. So unless at the beginning they were running at a loss, and now they've needed to keep the premium as a percentage rather than an amount, I think that would help bridge the gap between stacking and, public awareness and uniqueness, pride in one's state, a useful gift, bookmark. I think if they could get that premium down, so it was closer to, fractional gold bars, I think then they could actually increase the sales even more. Now, whether they've considered that as an option, I don't know. But with gold, looks like we're heading back up to 5,000 pretty rapidly, doesn't it? I think we just broke 4,700 this afternoon. I mean, if gold was 10,000, would they still be having 100% premium? I guess would be the question I would ask them. If they want to reply to this, get your premiums down, and I think your volumes will more than make up for it.
That might be so. I know that when they first came out, the one Goldback was approximately $2. And now, last time I looked, they're like $9, $10.
Yeah.
So that's why they came out with a half and then later came out with a quarter to still try to get something around the $2 mark.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to come out with anything smaller than a quarter. My question is the technology still that expensive? I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm not mistaken, the Goldback does not make their own product. They get it from another company called Alorum.
Okay.
And Alorum also makes other types of gold foil products, such as this Dallas Fort Worth, which is about the same weight as a one Goldback. Then you got this Merry Christmas, the State of Israel. These two are 100-gram gold, but they're making it for other organizations. And to my knowledge, they're the only ones who have the technology to make these products. But is Alorum charging Goldback so much they got to keep those prices? Is Goldback? I don't know. But honestly, not having the inside information on Alorum or Goldback, we'd all like to see better premiums, but will they be able to survive financially or not? That is for them to let us know.
It is, and I guess if there's only one manufacturer and one primary wholesaler, there isn't any competition at the moment. So maybe that will come. If we're on to the 9th state, I think you said Idaho is going to be the 9th.
I believe so.
There could be incentive for other companies to think, wow, this could be a business worth entering into.
It could be. I mean, it could be a complete monopoly simply because no one else has the technology.
Yeah.
Probably the best monopoly ever is when someone doesn't know how to do what you're doing.
But if you compare it to paper money, I mean, I think you said the cheapest one was $2.
Yes.
So if you'd bought that $2 at the same time, or held that $2 for the same period, the $2 one now, and I think you said is $9.
Yes.
Well, that's still $2, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it's paper. What does it cost to make that? 10 cents, 5 cents?
I was told the $1 cost about 3 cents to make.
3 cents. So,
and the $100 one, because of all the increased security features, was about 9 cents.
Right. So at least you're getting some high technology, some durability. I have got some from 2021 and they've been knocking around. They're still in pretty good condition. And I think Monetary Metals, Keith Wiener, the guy who does that, you can send them your gold and they pay you income in gold on it. They had their business cards were made by Alorum as well. I think I got some of those from the 2020, 2021. So yeah, I think we will push ahead now. I think I'll have to now, won't I? So I did nearly, I think I mentioned earlier, I did nearly sign up, but I didn't quite finish getting it all done. So definitely time to put that on my list this week, get that done and get my first order in.
And if you put it in there that I sent you, I will
do
credit from that. It's been my opinion that you mainly want new stackers to get into silver before gold. With the advent of its hyper functionality and fractionality, do you still see silver as a primary stacking tool before even Goldbacks, and why?
Yes. Just primarily because the way technology is going, and particularly the recent excursion in Iran and the surrounding consequences. We've seen oil go from $60 to $115 on the US futures, over $140 for practical purchases in Asia. This is going to drive solar demand because in a lot of situations, solar made sense at $60 oil. So now if countries and individuals and businesses where solar would make sense at $60, it makes a whole lot more sense at $120 oil, $130, $140 oil, or the threat in the future of shortages or absolute running out. I think there's one country that's pretty well out of aviation fuel. I think Australia, 400 filling stations were out of gas. I know solar isn't a direct replacement for gasoline, but if you combine it with high quality electric vehicles, you're independent of the oil industry to about as far as you can get, apart from getting a horse. Going back to what I think silver is, I think there's even more reasons now, because we are going to consume it at an increasing rate. And the silver that goes into solar panels is going to be trapped for the lifetime of the solar panel. And eventually we will reach an equilibrium if we have some remaining civilization where the silver will be of such value that the products will be collected and the silver extracted to make new products. But we're a ways off that equilibrium yet. Silver is going to have to be 150, 200, 250, and looking like it's going to stay at that level before companies will put in the infrastructure. And then we've got the risk before even that governments might declare it not for retail purchase anymore, that it's so important to national industries, national defense, military industrial complex, that there isn't any left for us stackers. If that happens, I think the price will carry on rising and it'll be a one-way valve. We'll be allowed to sell our silver, but it'll get harder and harder, if not impossible, to buy silver. So yeah, I'm still fundamentally convinced that silver should be the core of one's private physical holdings.
That brings me to the point of whether or not silver would be confiscated, or they'll just wait till we sell it, and they've got a system set up that where the buyers, such as yourself, of silver are mandated to turn it over to the government.
That will happen. I am convinced. I will get a visit. I'll be told which software to use. I'll probably be given an actual whole computer system, and I'll have to log every transaction live, maybe even under camera. I think that will be the case, and the penalties for purchasing from retail and selling that on to retail will probably be too much of a deterrent for most people to ignore. And that will be a tragedy, because it will coincide probably with the introduction of full digital currency and runaway movement in the price of silver. And I think that will shut out most people who haven't got around to getting any silver.
I've noticed that a lot of people, when the price of silver hit 100, they were complaining that it was unobtainium for them, which is why I mentioned the whole fractionality of silver, not only for that, but also gold.
Yeah, I mean, the fractionality, I still think usually have a stack of dimes on the desk here. The 90% dime, I mean, you got 10 of them is $1 face, so that's 0.715 ounces of silver content. That's your ultimate. And if you're worried about Roosevelt dimes being confused with the non-silver Roosevelt 65 and newer, get Mercury dimes. At the moment, they're still selling below spot.
That's typically what I end up doing. When I do a live stream, I'll sometimes give away a dime, maybe a quarter, because I don't want to have to deal with my spreadsheets, because it's just more work.
Yeah.
I'll go down to the pawn shop. I'll buy a $1 face of dimes, a $1 face of quarters, give away what I promised, and then stack anything left over. It's not much of stacking, but one dime at a time does make a tower.
It's better than nothing, isn't it?
Oh, certainly.
Because how fast a dollar will revert to zero, I think it will be slowed down by the digital dollar, because they could be able to control velocity, because every purchase you make with your digital FedNow account or your Banking for All account, whatever they name it, will be conditional. So they can slow down the velocity, they can slow down the final collapse, but they can't stop that catastrophic collapse.
No, they can't. And I often wonder if they're going to not touch U.S. minted silver, because it was minted, and they don't want to have to deal with the additional refining.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't got to go back far, have you? And the premium on 90% constitutional was approaching 100% 2-3 years ago. So it was holding a much higher premium than Silver Eagles. And normally I found what happens as the Silver Eagle premium starts to rise due to retail demand, then the 90% picks up. But that hasn't yet happened. And we've had a rise all the way up in the Silver Eagle premium, and it's collapsed all the way back down. It's bottomed out. The wholesalers are selling just literally 10, 15 cents above their cost buying the Silver Eagles from the mint. So we are in a strange situation. And I really think the true value of the 90% will be as money again. If you can hang on to it through to the complete collapse of the new digital dollar, that's when it has its utility.
Comes in a cycle.
Yep.
Right now, constitutional is not well preferred by retailers, by refiners. Subsequently, it's less expensive, but that'll change.
I mean, I've had some savvy clients. They've bought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth whilst it's below spot. Because you're covering your bases, because if you're paying negative premium, you're getting more silver than you're paying for. If silver resets to 150, 250, 350, the refining cost isn't going to go up 5 times.
No.
The refining cost in chemicals. So I think as 10, 15% of one stack, I think it's a sound proposition. If your time scale doesn't mean you have to sell now, because that would be painful if somebody had only stacked 90% and they had to sell now. I mean, the bids are actually abysmal. I mean, I just spoke to a major refiner a couple of days ago. They're only offering dealers 85% on any silver.
Wow.
Which is rubbish, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. With you becoming a merchant of Alpine Gold, and as you experience this, would you keep this in memory? Because I'd really love to revisit this with you on a future date so that you can tell everyone what your experience is. Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? How was the website? Was it good for someone do you have to be a computer tech guy, or can you just be a normal guy? I've run out all my questions. Is there anything you want to cover?
No, I think that's it, really. I think, I will. Let's do a follow-up once we've got them in stock, and I'll get some feedback from clients. Okay. I'll see how they go.
Before we close, what's going on new with ARK Silver Gold Osmium?
Yeah, we've got some great deals for your viewers. If anybody wants 2-ounce bullets, we've got these at spot. They come in a 10-pack if you want a 10-pack. So 20 ounces at spot. And we've got, for the collectors, we still got some of the 2026 Year of the Horse. I think this is the finest bullion coin of 2026, personally. And as long as you can put up with King Charles on the back, I think the artistry makes up for it. It's a beautiful coin. We have a whole range of Canadian wildlife. We've got the 2-ounce saber tooths. We got 1 1/4 ounce. 1 1/4 bisons. Got a whole load of that. We have Philharmonics at the moment are cheaper than 1-ounce Buffalo Rounds. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow. That says something.
And these are the older ones with the shiny edge, shiny rim.
I don't mind Charles that much. I'll just take pictures of this one right here and just glue it onto the back. You remember Princess Di, don't you?
Of course I do.
She was the best royal, in my opinion.
She was out of her depth joining that. What's the word? Organization. Here we go. I'll be polite.
I think she brought class to them.
Oh, and we have, for a limited while, we do have some beautiful 1/4 ounce gold maples.
Always a good buy.
And these are selling at the same premium per ounce as 1 ounce. So those are a great deal. So you can get 4 1/4 ounce gold maypoles for the price of 1 ounce, or you can buy a 1/4 ounce for the price of 1/4 of a 1 ounce. Try saying that. And we do just opened up. We have 10-ounce cubes.
How about that?
5-ounce cubes.
Oh, I'm jelly.
Let's get it right. Well, 1.5 ounce cubes, as well as 10-ounce dice and 5-ounce dice.
Nice.
So those are new in. I just They came in a long time ago, and I've only just unboxed them yesterday.
Well, before we stop showing what you're showing, maybe you can send me pours that you now have up for sale.
Oh, yeah. We have a whole cabinet full of Silver Dragon silvery loveliness. Yeah, I think there's over 40 different designs. So we might have the largest collection for retail sale in the world, possibly.
That'd be cool.
And they go back, don't they, to 2022, 23, I think. So we've got some earlier ones.
I think the earliest ones was 22.
Okay. So I will send you a video, and if you need any more info, let me know on the Silver Dragon limited edition hand pours.
Well, everyone, that's all we have for today. I hope you learned a lot during this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments down below or at thetigerstacker@gmail.com. Or you may reach out to Ian Everard. His contact information is in this description below and included in this video. Of course, you may also reach out to Alpine Gold for any questions and information, which it will also be included below. As always, Ian, I really enjoyed this interview, and you always show the wealth of knowledge you have in our community. Everyone, please consider contacting Ian for your precious metals purchases. You will not be disappointed. He has great prices, a good personality, and he's very fair and honest. So good night, everyone. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Tiger.